Hey y'all, Kyle here. I'm happy to introduce a new series today. We're going to go through all of BBO's Bridgemaster deals. If you don't know what Bridgemaster is, it's an awesome application. Basically instructing you on card play through all sorts of different skill levels. And it's really just a great tool to work on your declare play. Rather if you're a beginner or really at any level, there's some crazy deals in the world class section. Um, I myself, about a year or two ago, finished basically level 1 through level 4. I've been gradually trying to do level 5 on my own, but level 5 is crazy, the world class details. Actually, they're not all crazy, but essentially, I thought as a fun series, we try to work through all of them and eventually try to finish all the deals. They're great too because the way the deals are constructed is they're constructed so that you find the optimal play. So sometimes cards like switch between hands because it's about like let's say trying to think when it's. I mean, we'll see examples soon, but like let's say you need a like let's say part of the deal the optimal play is to pull 2 rounds of trump or something before conducting whatever the play is to make your contract. If you don't pull 2 rounds of Trump, sometimes random bad stuff will happen. I mean, not random, but deals are constructed in a way to that are themed around kind of the concept of each deal rather than a particular holding in some situations, which is a really nice aspect of it. Um, I believe Bridgemaster was created when BBO was part of a larger business, Bridgebase Inc. I was curious where the origin are from. I think were partially created. I'm not sure if they were coded directly by Fred Gittleman directly, but Fred is responsible for a lot of the origins of Bridgebase, and I think from my resources when this became free, it was credited to Fred. Don't know much about all that, but these deals are amazing. So everyone that worked and created them should be proud. We got a lot of deals to work through, so we're just gonna try to do 10 or 20 minutes of this. In fact, I'm going to, yeah, anyway, I'm going to set a timer. But we're going to just work through the beginning levels, which may be and we're going to get going. Let's see if we can maybe do all of the A's in beginner today. First 36. All right, so we're in a 3-0, and sometimes too you want to pay attention to the contracts they give you. So we're in a 3-0 contract. And our goal is to take 9 tricks. So we see 4 tricks in clubs, 2 tricks in diamonds, 2 tricks in hearts, and so this deal is about. So I should say in the deal in these things, it's not about. It's just about making your contract. It's not about over tricks. Usually the contracts are framed so you make exactly the number of tricks for the contract. So this deal, if we see 8 tricks in all the side suits, this deal is about the spade suit. And we're about to learn a card combination here. How do we, with queen and 1 across jack third, how do we guarantee at least one spade trick? And that's having one of the opponents lead the suit for you. So you'll notice if we play the queen will be captured by an honor. And there's no reason why like West 10 couldn't be from like King 10 fourth. So maybe if we put up the queen at trick 1, it'll be captured, and East could return a spade, capturing our jack, and then they take a lot of spade tricks, right? So there is a way to prevent this, and that's by playing low here at trick 1. The temptation for a beginner, I think, is to cover a spot with a spot and try to promote. But by playing low, you force East to win this trick with the Ace or King, and if they're forced to win with the Ace or King, you preserve the queen on the board, and so we get an extra trick. Now they can't continue spades. They can continue spades, but now we have a third round spade. And the way to make this is to just take our 8 other tricks now outside of spades, and we will get a gold star. The thing about Bridgebase is it doesn't. The only thing annoying about these, at least in some of the early levels, is that you can't claim. You have to play till you make your contract to get a confirmation that you did it. So you can see on the select deal page, we get a star by ones we've done. Um, Looks like I don't have any stars right now. I have all the stars for the first 4 levels on the mobile app. I guess for some reason it queues my stars differently whether I'm on the mobile app or my computer, which is good for this web series actually, because we're gonna just do them all in order. We're not. There's no reason to skip around. All right. So deal 2 is about order and caching your tricks. So we got essentially, if you count our tricks, we have everything but the ace of clubs. Right. We have the top 3 spades, top 3 hearts, top 3 diamonds. So the thing about this is about being careful. So if we cache like all of our spades now, the problem is when we lose the ace of clubs, there's 13 spades, right? So if we play 3 rounds of spades, even if they split as evenly as possible between the 2 hands, someone is going to have the 13th spade. Playing 3 rounds of a suit doesn't clear the suit. So we just cache all of our spades. East or West is going to get in, and when they get the ace of clubs, they can take their 4th round trick. So I think no matter which suit I clear out, the hand of the ace of spades is gonna be. This is what I'm talking about how the hands can shift. If we cash out 3 rounds of a suit, the ace of spades is always gonna have the 4th round of each suit. So I guess the hands don't have to switch for that, right? West, that the hand could have the stiff ace of clubs and 4 of every suit. But we have to knock out the ace first. And to kind of show you that, we'll look at the solution at the end of this. That's a good feature I meant to show. If you're going through this on your own, and I really recommend you do, then you'll want to look at the solutions if you're confused on the concept at the end of the hand. Usually, like a lot of the earlier ones, it's very easy, at least for me, to like see a teaching concept that they're trying to show. So here's what I'm talking about. You can do show solution, and here we can see West. The hand of the ace of clubs has 4 cards in every suit. Kind of the perfect teaching hand, you notice. They have the jack 4th in every suit. So it highlights each suit kind of for you. Talks about you need to force out the ace of clubs. They're very detailed explanations, actually, which is very good. At least it's very good for the advanced ones. Occasionally you'll find one that seems a little unfair, like it'll make an assumption about like a lightly suit break. Like one I was doing on the world class today, I was doing like world class A21. And it's like you can assume West has shorter clubs and longer diamonds based on his like 2 hard preempt and like what you can see, and it's kind of, I think because you had more cards of one minor suit available, and I think the concept was West is more likely to have more cards, and it was like an assumption about if West has 4 diamonds, which minor is longer. Like they might have had like 6 heart. They were like 6-4-2-1. It was an assumption about which minor is their 4 card, which minor was 4 cards or something like that. Something stupid, not stupid, but you get what I mean, right? It was like some random assumption about the minor, and maybe you can't make it if. Maybe it's just a condition, like you can't make it if the minors are flipped or something based on the cards you had in each minor. But sometimes they fill in little assumptions like that. It seem a little ridiculous. At least at the higher levels. At the low levels, they're pretty well made, I would say. And it's a good job. And I mean, these deals do a phenomenal job at trying to preview some of the higher level card play. So like, it's not that the assumptions are terrible. It's just sometimes, occasionally they don't explain them as good as they can. Okay, so we're in 7 spades. And basically, we can counter tricks all from the south hand. We have a heart loser we want to get rid of. So we can think of ways to get rid of the heart loser. One would be to set up clubs, and maybe the other way would be to rough a heart loser in the dummy. Right? So we have to compare those two options. So the thing about setting up clubs is to set up clubs, if club split 3-2, we'd have to rough out a club, but then we would need another card outside of clubs to access the clubs once we've set up the clubs, because to rough the third round of clubs, we'd have to play the ace of clubs, the king of clubs, rough a club, and so you need a card outside. And the thing about this is we have all solid spades, so we don't have a spade entry. And also, because this hand only has 6 spades and there's 2, trump wouldn't be pulled. I'm playing the third round of clubs, so can't do that. So this deal is pushing you towards to roughing the third heart before pulling trump. So this deal is about pulling trump when to pull trump. And when you're in a contract like 7, you can't pull trump if you need to still need to take a trick if you need to take a trick by roughing. You can't pull trump yet. So I think this is to encourage the beginning player not to just mindlessly pull trump, but to plan out your play. And as long as they can't rough the second round of hearts, we're safe, because 2 the 8 is a touching card to our ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9. So they can't overruff the 8 if we have all the spots. And you can think about which suit is safer. It's safer to cross in diamonds than in clubs, because clubs could be 5-0, because we're missing 5. I don't think this deal is going to punish you in that, but that's also something to think about. At some of the higher level deals will test you that, like they'll throw in a random crappy suit break, and they'll make sure you're crossing in the right suit to pull trump at the end. So that's deal 3. I said there's 36 deals in the A level. You know what, we're just going to do the first 10, I think. Because the point of the one thing I want to do with these videos is have more like bite-sized bridge. So we're going to try to keep it kind of short. Okay, so this deal, they take the ace of spades off the top, and we need every other trick. So the main thing here is how to pull trump. We get the ace, king, empty 4th across jack, 10, 9, 4th. So a lot of times when you're in the 4-4 fit, you test for stiff queen offside or like that kind of thing. You play one high round of trump and then you hook for the rest. You can't really handle 5-0 trump on this deal. Think 5-0 trump offside with West having the queen. You can't do it. With queen 4 on side, the problem is all of your suits are mirrored, so that's not really something you consider. So you can consider queen 4 of hearts with east, and I guess we can test one round of trump, play the ace, because we can slide through a high heart the other 3 rounds. So it's usually percentage to test 1 round. Then we slide the jack through. And now we see 4-0 hearts with hearts and east. This deal may not punish you if you don't play a high hearted trick 3. We can read the solution now, honestly. It'll talk about the heart combination, like what's the percentage play if you don't know it. South's only possible losers in the trump suit. South must avoid losing the queen. South has 2 ways to play the heart suit worth considering. Could cash the top 2 hearts and hope for queen to be doubleton, or alternatively, you could cash 1 high heart in case West has singleton queen, and you can then hook the rest and play for queen 4. So let's actually re-steal this one, and I want to show you if we just finesse the heart at trick 2, I think it'll punish us, and it'll have, like you saw West had a stiff like 7 of hearts on the deal. If we just run the heart, I think stiff queen will win. See, so it's showing stiff queen of hearts with east, but we remember that wasn't the original case. So that's why I was talking about hand shifting around. It'll punish you for not playing a suit optimally, or it won't punish you every time for not playing a suit optimally. But like this deal is clearly about the card combination and the heart suit, and so they'll punish you. Like they're not gonna punish. Like no one's gonna rough a diamond, for example. If I crossed in diamonds instead of clubs here, because that's not the point of the hand. Um, but they'll punish you in the suit of interest, essentially, or the suits of interest to the problem. So we'll finish this and we'll look at the solution. I wonder if I'm going to get through 10. You know what? I keep changing the number of deals. I'm like, maybe I'll get through 18. Maybe I'll get through 10. Here. So the correct play is to take the finesse after cashing ace or 10, and it teaches you the 8 ever, 9 never saying. If you've never heard of it, good to learn about it. It's essentially just 8 ever, 9 never is a way to think of the percentage plays of dealing with an 8 or 9 card trump suit. In 8 card trump suit, usually you need to take finesses to pick up spots because while suits break 3-2 around 68% of the time, they break 4-1. It's 4-1 like another 20-ish% of the time. It's like 18 to 21%, I want to say. And then the last small percentile is 5-out breaks, which is only 2 combinations. Yeah, is it like 70? I don't know. Usually, yeah. I guess you normally think of it of maybe it's higher. Maybe it's like maybe the heuristic is like 70-30, and you just ignore 5-0 breaks because it's 2 combinations. Anyway, but it's different heuristics about 8 or 9 card suits breaking and how you might play the suit missing spots. If you do you play for the spot to fall, or do you play to pick up the spots by taking a finesse or like running a card, trying to pick up the intermediates that are missing, hoping they're in favorable positions, and you can't always. And the idea is the less cards you have in the suit, the more often you're to do it. And there's certain thresholds, like I'd say 8-9 is a pretty big threshold. In which you like it because at 9 things start to split in 2 rounds, whereas 8 you need to play 3 rounds of the suit yourself to pick up all the spots from the opponents. So that's really kind of the inflection point, in which a suit becomes really good. I mean, 8 is basically you actually have a fit, but 9 is when you start to have more control of the fit. All right, let's make this the last deal, just to keep the intro video to this series kind of shorter, on the shorter side. Okay, so we just read about 8 ever, 9 never, and so this deal is about the heart suit, except we have one more heart. So on the previous deal, we had to cash a heart and then we had a hook. And so if you going by the saying 8 ever, 9 never, you should not hook with the 9 card fit. And that's because you've already, by testing for stiff queen with 1 round, I think it's like a slight, I mean, it's not that big of a difference. If you have extra information from the auction, you do violate 9 never. But a general rule for like let's say we knew West had a 6 card spade suit on this deal. Then maybe we hook because East has more vacant spaces. But if we hook here, we're going to lose to queen and 1. This is just illustrating the concept 8 ever, 9 never. Because we don't have any information from the auction on their suit lengths, a priori, no extra knowledge, it's slightly better to play for dropping doubleton queen. Though it's a very small percentage. And we can read the solution. I wonder if it encourages crossing back to the board to lead a second heart. Yeah, it doesn't even encourage crossing to the other hand. Um, if the heart suits weren't so solid in the north hand, like if it was like Jack empty fourth, and the 10 was hidden in Declarer's hand in the south hand, sometimes you lead the Jack from the dummy to encourage like East to cover with Queen and 1, maybe trying to promote maybe partner is 10 third if it's not clear that we have a 9 card fit. Sometimes you induce a cover that's wrong, double dummy. Um, but yeah, so that's the first 4 problems. We're gonna keep playing this out so I get my fuzzy star and get to feel good. But hope you're enjoying this series. We're gonna try to go through all of them again. We're gonna go through all the Bridge Masters, starting from the lowest level. We'll read the commentary if it's interesting, or some of the higher levels, maybe we'll get stuck. I've done the first. I've told you I've done the first 4 levels, so I think I hopefully um, am good enough where I don't need any hints. So we'll try to solve all these without hints in these videos, and you can kind of get a workaround of me logicking through it. Hopefully this serves as like a decent reference guide. If I encourage you to go through these, and maybe after you play through an interesting hand or you're stuck on one, maybe you want a hint from me talking through the deal at the beginning of it for 5 seconds rather than immediately reading the solution, because that's a good way to learn. Is to kind of play through it yourself the most you can, and not just read solutions, because sometimes you don't pick up on things. So I hope this was an interesting video, and we'll keep up this new series. Hopefully things work out good. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.